Welcome to episode 62 of the Automotive Artistry Podcast. And my next guest is Aaron Valencia. If you watched the previous episode, we did a little recap of a trip recently where we visited the Los Angeles Career Center. And Aaron, he's the owner, creator of it, and he welcomed us into his doors for 2 days. It was a great experience. If you're not familiar with the Los Angeles Career Center, it's a school that really puts a focus on the next generation. And we're talking anywhere from 18 to I think about 24 years old. But they're the people that we need in our industry right now. And spending 2 days at that school really showed us the importance of not just a program that puts the students first, but really shows that the instructors, that is their focus there. It really showed a lot to us being there for 2 days, and it confirmed what we thought when we first met them at SEMA 2025 last year. So since then, we figured out a way to get over there and be a part of it, and it was a great experience for both Connie and myself. And recording this episode with Aaron, it really gives you a lot of insight into who Aaron is, what his beliefs are, and showing that I think you'll feel like this is the right person to help the next generation. And Los Angeles Career Center is growing. We're excited for them. Some of our thoughts after we got back from this trip, you can hear it on the previous episode, but you know what? We really felt good when we got back because a lot of what we stand for is our industry, and the people that are running the show at Los Angeles, they're about our industry. So this episode series is it's a 2-part series. So we're going to have Aaron Valencia for this episode, and there's going to be another episode after this where we actually did a bunch of interviews with the students, and we're excited to share both of them with you all. Outside of that, we have to thank this episode's sponsor, SADA USA. Their support for today's episode helps us highlight the next generation of the industry. Now let's get started. We are on site at the Los Angeles Career Center, and my next guest is Aaron Valencia.
Good morning. Good morning.
Aaron, thanks for having us in your house.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad you guys had a chance to come down, make it all the way across to the West Coast and kind of see what we got going on over here. So.
Yeah, no, this is great. Yesterday we spent some time with the students, with instructors, and just seeing how the program operates. And man, it's awesome. That was a great day yesterday.
Yeah, very cool. Like I said, if you guys show up, they're going to put you to work. We got some of our staff, some of our young people, and they need help. If you guys are down to sand some cars, we got lots of cars to sand.
Oh,
so yeah. You're not gonna, you can't stand around here. Someone's gonna put you to work.
Yeah,
so.
That was the first thing we were doing doing some wet sanding, and I think Connie got put to work the most. Yeah. She was, a big part of that and stuff. And but seeing all your departments and everything, and how the instructors are with the students, that's been a breath of fresh air, really. Yeah. And developing all that I'm sure. We'll get into like some of the process and what it's take from round zero and everything like that. But, as far as do a little bit about yourself and where did you get started in the automotive side of things?
So I don't know. I mean, I guess growing up, cars always seemed cool. Cars and motorcycles always seemed cool, but it was one of those. If you don't grow up in it, it's kind of like a rich man sport. Like you're never gonna get into it. You're not just gonna have like an old classic truck or something, Yeah. So it was actually met a guy, had an old '54 Chevy car, and kind of started getting into it. And it was really once I got inspired, once I saw like what took a ride in this old chop top '54 Chevy, and it was like, oh, this is amazing. Like there's a whole different feel, Yeah. So then it was back before the internet, and it was really going to every bookstore, every magazine shop, anywhere I could, and just devouring. This was back in the Auto Trader, and just looking through everything and just soaking up every bit of information I could. And then it was just meeting a lot of people and just asking a lot of questions. And that's kind of how it got started. And it's been evolving. And I think it's one of those, if you really are obsessed with something, it's the information it soaks up. You got to hear it one time and it clicks. You don't have to be force fed the information, if you're really obsessed.
When did you get like your first hands-on experience in a shop, like starting fabricating or anything like that?
Um, yeah, dude, it's well, always just growing up, fixing stuff, building skate ramps, and just
Mhm.
always being hands on.
Yeah.
But kind of getting into cars, it was, like I said, I picked up an old Chevy
Mhm.
and just started stabbing it with screwdrivers,
Yeah.
trying to figure it out. I had no idea what I was doing,
Mhm.
And just really just kind of
It just
figuring
folded from there.
stuff out. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of self-taught stuff, and then I had a guy that actually lived out here in Lancaster. I was living in LA,
Mhm.
and he was down to help me work on my car and out here. So I'd come out here after work and spend the weekend in the blazing sun, figuring out how to like try and chop a top and with a sawzall with some rusty blades, trying to figure out how to cut quarter panels and cut stuff and figure stuff out. And he was one of those guys that was like, well, here's my car. This is how I did it.
Mhm.
And here's some tools. Here's a little welder. And here, man, figure it out.
Yeah.
And here's a couple of tips and get after it. And honestly, that kind of mentality helped me a lot. And I think the mentality also of, I was just explaining it the other day of, this was back when you go to the junkyard, to build, a chop top, crazy custom car or whatever. You don't have to go to the magazines. You don't have to get everything brand new, or you don't have to go to the shop. It was really figure it out on your own. Go to the junkyard, get an old junky small block, or buy a 70s, 4-door Nova, tear it apart, gut it, and take everything and put it into like, a 50 Chevy truck. You can take the front clip, the rear end, almost everything, just cannibalize it. So now you're on the road in a 50 Chevy truck for $600.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like that build it your own mentality. I think that's really what started, and it just kind of kept evolving. And then it was open to small little, working on my garage, building cars for people, and then it just kind of kept evolving.
And the funny thing is then you get into like, oh, there's these taillights. I can throw this on there. And you figure out how to like cut out this section. And like now you have that, whatever it is, Impala or Chevy pickup and you threw these different taillights on there and you're like, oh, this is cool. Like a lot of that, I think of like California car culture. Was that a huge influence for you?
Yeah, for sure. I think the custom cars, like the hot rods and custom cars, was definitely where I got started. So that whole world of like chop mercs and different quarter panels and different front headlights, putting like Buick headlights and different trim, and that type of custom car world is really what got me going. And in that world, anything's possible. And I think that's kind of what opened up. You didn't have to do like a real strict restoration where everything had to fit perfectly and your gaps and your everything. This was in like a custom world where it's building something. It was almost this pride of building something that no one had ever seen before, but it was parts you recognize, but put together in a way that no one had seen before. Creating a custom car that looked like it could have come off the showroom floor in 53, but it was just like, I see that those headlights, I see this, that's a fender flare from this. Well, I never would have thought of putting that together like that. I think that's where I really sunk my teeth into, was creating the custom world.
So you think like maybe a good example of that would be like the Gene Winfield type work, where it's again chop tops, fades, graphics, all that kind of stuff that really inspired you?
Yeah, definitely. I think the custom body work, the sheet metal, I think that's really what got me going. And it really wasn't even about going fast. I just wanted a motor that ran.
Yeah.
I didn't even care. And it wasn't until I started getting older where I'm like, man, I actually like going fast now. So now I'm kind of like, now, and everything's kind of gone the other way. So now I'm kind of like not so much on the custom, and now I'm kind of getting more into like, I like going fast. I like racing. I like doing different stuff now.
What about when I think of the California car culture, like this was like a main hub that like spread out through the rest of the states, because it's like you see the artists and the people that were doing the chop tops and these custom paint jobs, and it just like, I have all these podcast episodes with people from California, and it just seems like it always comes back here. Yeah, it seems like this was a main hub, and like that's where a lot of inspiration like came from for a lot of people in this area, including the lowrider culture and stuff. Were you influenced by any of the lowrider culture here?
Not a whole lot. The lowrider trip wasn't a huge thing for me. I think it was more like, it's like the custom cars. I think it was just such a I don't know how to describe it, like just kind of a very creative, very more artistic, more you can. I think the lowrider world is super cool. There's some amazing paint jobs, some really cool stuff. It's just a different style, just a different feel altogether. I respect it. It's rad. But for me, it's like to really have no limits where you can cut a car in half. Yeah. and weld two different cars together and make something that never existed and make it flow and just the full one-off custom side of stuff. That's really where I think just the freedom, the freedom to create whatever. And I think coming up in it, it was a lot more. This was back in like the Paso Robles when we used to, cut a roof off a car and drive all the way through the desert, head up north to a show at Paso a couple times a year. And there was a lot of under construction, and there was a lot of, everybody was home builders. There was a lot of people that were doing the whole backyard boogie thing and figuring things out. And it was like, almost like a fraternity or whatever. You get together, you just get to see people you get to see once or twice a year and see the projects they've been working on and what state it was at. And you get to watch these cars evolve over the course of a year, a couple of years, and just go from like a rusty something that's stitched well together but made it to the show to, next year you see it and the body work's done, it's in primer, it's got some new taillights or something kind of custom, and then you see it the next year and it's painted, got some interior, and you just get to watch the evolution, and it was respected the whole way, and it was appreciated the whole way. I think the build, it was the built not bought or whatever, but it was just like people really respected and appreciated the build.
Yeah.
Versus just, this is what I got, it's done, it's badass, everyone loves it. Like that's great. The finished product is great, but I think it really was like the journey. I think it was watching people and being part of that. You're on the journey with people of creating something, and everybody had such an artistic flair to everything they were doing.
I think that's why on the automotive side, like social media is taken off for it, because like people get to see the build. What you're talking about, you can watch that progression from start to finish in a way that you never got to see it before. You'd always go to a show and there's the completed car.
Yeah.
And I've had episodes with a lot of metal shapers where it's like, we want to show the cars in bare metal.
Yeah.
And show this part of the process that a lot of people don't really get to be exposed to. And I think that brings both the enthusiasts, the client, all that stuff, to get them to see those aspects to like draw them in further into it.
Yeah, 100%.
And see more than just the finished product, because we're talking hundreds to thousands of hours on one project like that.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it too, is, to be honest, is that part, it could also become discouraging, is because it's just like, okay, I'll never be that. It's so far advanced. So it's like, okay, where do you draw the line of like, where it's, I can still do this, or now it's become unattainable and I'm never going to be that guy. So it gets intense,
Yeah, and there's just every level, every customer that comes in, they may want, this is the level they want, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the other person that wants this really high-end level, but that's between you and the customer to decide. Or for your own project, how far do you want to go with it?
Yeah.
And I mean, you and I are both people that do stuff with our hands and fabricate and, that kind of stuff. And we push it. We see how far we want to go with something, and that's the exciting part for everyone that's trying to get into this kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like driving around here, you always see old cars, always all these classics and everything, and it's stuff that helps draw you. I'm sure it's got to be tough. You drive around and you see a car, you're like, oh, that thing's been sitting there for a while.
Oh,
like, let me go pick that thing up. Like, how's that for you guys around here?
Oh, if I had money and space, it'd be trouble. Definitely. Yeah, no, I would have my own junkyard for sure. There's just a lot of cool projects, and I think when you're a builder, you're a customizer, it's your brain is always thinking about what you would do, how you would cut this one up, what you do there. So that's what's kind of it's a cool space to be able to have the freedom to be able to work with customers and work with people over the years that they come with an idea and you're able to kind of show what you would do, and then you have that freedom to be able to create something cool together.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of inspiration out here, what really inspired you to start Lost Angels?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of things that kind of hit at the same time, I guess. It was, having a shop and just working and just paying bills and surviving. Everything's cool. And it was really on a whim. I started volunteering at a local soup kitchen. We grew up poor. We grew up didn't have nothing. And bouncing out of situations. And now as an adult, I'm getting along. Everything's going okay. And then it was just realizing it's to kind of give back. So I started volunteering at a soup kitchen, and it took off for me. I saw just a different side of myself, and just like I wasn't thinking about the stresses of work, the relationships. I wasn't thinking about anything else other than just kind of being there for other people, and did a couple of years of running a soup kitchen and then cooking spaghetti, for 400 people a couple times a week. to want to do something more than a plate of food. And I had a shop, and I've watched these kids grow up in the food lines at the shelters, and it was I was like, man, I can create like a little program where I want to help these guys help these kids a little bit more. So what it was in 2014 is I actually built a custom car, a little hot rod, and sold raffle tickets and raised money for the kids that were living in shelters. So that first year in 2014, raised money for 2 different homeless shelters, and it worked. People were excited about it. So I did it in 2015. Did a 36 Ford, fully custom, sold raffle tickets, raised money just for kids living in shelters. And then by the third year, it was like, man, instead of giving money to shelters, I can actually create a space for kids to come here, and I can teach them how to weld, how to paint, how to do some custom stuff, read a tape measure, do some basic blueprinting to help them in life and give them a safe place to be after school.
Yeah.
So I started an after-school program in 2016 for 13 to 18-year-olds for high-barrier, low-income kids. There's predominantly kids in this area. It's a lot of kids that are in foster, a lot of foster care kids up here. So it was just create a space for kids to be after school.
Yeah.
Safe place. Had a plate of food. Got to paint a bunch of skateboards and work on cars. Did, swapping some motors. Built some old hot rod stuff. And it was a really cool, fun space.
Yeah.
And a couple years of that, realizing now kids are growing up. They're turning 18. They're graduating high school. I'm watching these kids grow up and realizing now they're 18 and they got to get a job. And there's that line between, all right, now I'm 18. I don't really have much support. What job do I get? It's like go into retail, go into food. And there's out here, and especially in Southern California, there's so much manufacturing and aerospace and automotive. There's so many big jobs that are out here, but people don't know how to get into them.
Yeah.
There's this wall for some of these jobs of like, well, I'm not good enough for that, or I need to go to school for 4 years to get that job. So it was like, man, you really don't. Like, you can get into this at an entry level and build yourself up.
Yeah.
So it was really created the work program is what we are now, right before COVID, for 18 to 24-year-olds, and it's a 12-week vocational work program for kids to come through and learn all facets of car restoration, from our mechanics department, our welding department, welding manufacturing, bodywork and paint, and our CNC tech lab. Our kids get to run through a 12-week program and figure out who they are in the workforce, learn all these skills, but above all, it's really learning work ethic. I think I say it's 75% of what we do, but I think it's almost 90% of what we do is creating work ethic.
Yeah.
You got to show up on time. You got to have a good attitude, dress appropriately, have all your materials, be ready to learn, be teachable, be hungry, be drug-free, and be ready to go.
Yeah.
That's really, and work as a team, communicate, complete tasks. I mean, that's what life is. I mean, that you got to work. The majority of our life, as adults, we're working.
Yeah.
You have to work. None of us are independently wealthy. If we are, hey man, then do this for fun.
Yeah.
But the rest of us, we got to work. We got to work to eat, and we can work and make $20 an hour, or we can work and make $40 an hour.
Yeah.
What life do we want to have? What's our level of comfort? So it's like, man, let's work hard. We have that motto of hard work pays off. Let's work hard, and you'll be able to have a good life.
So in the a lot of the demographic of what you guys are aiming for, to me it sounds like you saw an issue with these generations, right? Where, maybe they don't know work ethic, maybe they don't have a skill, or they don't have anybody around them to be like, hey, you can go in this direction too.
Yeah, you can do this.
You don't have to get stuck in this one thing. I ran into that with a lot of people myself, and them not knowing, how to get into some of that stuff. And it seems like you, that was like a main thing for you to be like, well, I could be that avenue to help you funnel into these places. But you also, I say this a lot, is you answered the call for adventure. It sounds like doing the soup kitchen and doing all that stuff, it turned into this thing that you took a chance at something. Yeah. You did the raffles, you did, you put those things together. And we all will get an idea, and whether we act on it or not, we're going to have you're either going to find out or you're not. And you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And I think that's something that's important for a lot of people to understand, is doing this, what's here, is answering that call. It's you take an idea and you're like, let's see where this goes. Yeah. And you're going to take the good, the bad, everything in between, because I'm sure this is not easy to get to this point where you're at now. I mean, 2014 and 2014 is when you started. Yeah. We're in 2026 right now, and you've been able to get it this far. it's not something that happens overnight.
Yeah, no, it's wild.
I
No,
mean,
I think answering, when you find your purpose,
mhm.
when you find a purpose, find your purpose, something, it's, taking a chance, not being scared.
Yeah.
It's a scary world out there. But there was, um, there's a theory of, when you find something that you find your path, let's say,
Mhm.
that sometimes there's a push, and you have to be able to accept it and see it, to let you know you're on the right path, and,
Yeah.
and push and jump. And you never know what can happen. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But if it does work, you never know. The sky's the limit. So
Yeah. And even things that you're afraid of. I've
Yeah.
done a bunch of things that I'm afraid of,
Mhm.
but I still acted on it.
Yeah.
And I've also not acted.
Mhm.
That ended with a different result right there.
Yeah.
And, even though students, they're at a formidable part in their life right now, you and I are sitting here, we've done X amount of stuff in our lives. And again, it's answering that call and moving forward with it. I feel like that's an important thing it takes time to start hearing that,
Mhm.
when you see those moments in your life where, like, you never know. There's students here that we met at SEMA,
Mhm.
and look at the timing that it took now. We're 8 months later or so, and they're here with us.
Yeah.
And we got to interact with them some more. We had, some really cool moments at SEMA last year
Yeah.
that were really special to us, and that's part of what really brought us here too. We're like, this is important.
Mhm.
We want to be here for this. We want to show people what you guys are doing and that you exist, and that there's something for these generations that are coming up. How important, as far as the demographic you guys are going for, how do you manage a lot of that stuff? Because everyone comes in with their own issues. Everyone comes in with a different level in their life that they're at. You got a good staff here,
Mhm.
but managing that is probably got to be a high priority on you guys.
Yeah.
How have you guys figured out how to work with people that are maybe they're having a hard time in their life?
Yeah. Well, I think we kind of set. I mean, it is tricky. We have an amazing case management department and our job development department for sure. But I think it's really important is creating a culture here, and it's having a culture where everybody's pushing, everybody wants to be successful. And that's the thing is that there's a strong vetting process to get into the program. This isn't just open for everybody, come through whenever you're ready. This is a paid program, so they're getting $18 an hour the whole time they're here. So we create this environment where you have to be ready. If you're not ready, don't sweat it, man. We'll be here when you are ready. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Is it's like we call it like vocational case management. It's being there for people, and when you're on a path, are you ready right now? Are you on a path you want to go to work? You ready to start this career opportunity? If you're not, and you just want to learn some stuff and hang out and learn how to work on your car, and then cool, man, this probably isn't the time for you.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people here right now that are already, we're 18 to 24-year-olds. We already have people that are young, that are parents, that already have kids. We have, people coming from a lot of different backgrounds that this is an hour. Now they have mouths they got to feed. They have responsibilities. This isn't just the luxury to learn something new. This is they got to start working, and they got real bills to pay.
Yeah.
Adulthood is starting now. So let's find and cater to those people that are hungry, and they're going to take every bit that we offer and be an incentive for the ones that aren't ready to get ready.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
So that's been a really big thing, and that's where a huge part of, I think, our success is finding the ones and creating an environment where everybody's pushing themselves and their team to be successful and get that next job and keep pushing. And I think it comes from our previous kids graduating and going off and working and coming back in and checking in, and they get to see the photos and hear the stories of kids that look just like them, came from the same neighborhood, same spaces, and they're off being successful, working for these world-renowned companies, traveling the world, working for Northrop Grumman and Lockheed,
Yeah.
and making money and buying houses, and they're realizing, man, that person is just like me,
Mm-hmm.
and they're doing it. I could do it. If
Yeah.
I got to follow these steps, I got to hit the roadmap right here, and let's get it. And I just got to show up every day and hit it hard. Man, it doesn't seem that scary anymore. And I think having a team of people showing you that this is for you, that this isn't like, oh no, man, it's only for, you have to be this, you have to your dad, you have to have a family member that works there for you to get in. Like, nah, that's not what, it's a lot different. It's really, doesn't matter where you're from or what you've been through. It's what you're doing right now and how hard you want to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it's about.
Well, I get two things from that. It's not a hangout, right?
Mm-hmm. No, this is not a hangout at all. This is work.
Yeah. And that's the real world.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to work in a successful business, it's not a hangout. Mm-hmm. You're still going to have fun. We do this stuff for a living because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you still have to make help be a part of the business to make it successful, because it takes the whole group of people together to do that. But at the end of the day, it all starts with you. You are the top of that whole thing. And by having your mentality, it trickles down to everyone else. And I would say that for, whether it's a school, whether you're a business, or you're a team on, I don't care, basketball or whatever, sport, the mentality that you carry is going to trickle down to everyone else.
Yeah.
So all of these things, I mean, there's a board behind us over here with a bunch of rules, and it tells you, hey, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We're not doing this. You're going to have consequences for that. And whether it's push-ups or, whatever it is, like, you're setting the stage of like, hey, we're going to be professional.
Yeah.
You're going to respect the person standing next to you.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to treat them like a team member, because that's what we are.
Yeah.
And I've seen this time and time again, and I've learned this throughout my career, is like, if you're the leader of that thing, everything, it starts with you.
Yeah. You got to walk it. You got to walk the walk 100%.
Yeah.
We have a thing about, being late or having foul language here. And it's just about creating accountability. And we call it, we don't call it the rules, we call it our agreements. And this is one of the things first day when we come through, and it's all 50 people sitting up here and it's going through, like, hey, let's talk about, let's create agreements of what we agree to do and not do. And then what's the accountability?
Mm-hmm.
If you're late, we say, late's a big thing. We go and tour a lot of these companies and say, how can we modify our training to better help these young people be prepared for their first day of work here with you guys, and what expectations? Across the board, everyone says, man, if we can just get our current staff to show up on time every day, would be successful. And it's like, it's crazy how low the bar has fallen in the industry. But so we have a thing here. We say, hey, dude, we got it on time is utmost priority. If you're 1 minute late, it's 10 push-ups. And we ask them, say, what do you want it to be for accountability? It's up to you guys, and have them set the standard. So it's not like I'm imposing it's 50 push-ups or a 1,000-word essay. It's let's all talk about it as a group. So they agree. So they can say 5, they say 10. So as a group, it's usually about 10, 20 push-ups or like a 250-word essay.
Mm-hmm.
And most people will eat the push-ups and not have to do an essay. So it's kind of funny. So but that's a big one. And then we say, and second offense, if you're late twice, it's turn around and go home.
Mm-hmm.
Try again tomorrow, man. You're docked for the day. It's when there's a real level of real accountability. And a lot of these young people, they're coming from school or coming from maybe in their crappy job where, if you're late, it's like, all right, dude, my bad. And you get to work, we'll figure it out later. And it's not real accountability.
Yeah.
Man, there's a theory of where you could love someone to death.
Yeah.
You can let them get away with so many things to where you're not actually preparing them for life. So we love everybody here, but I don't want to love you to death. I don't want to set you up for failure. Let's hold you accountable and turn you into a strong young person that's going to go off and get your next job and kill it and be that representative for the next person coming behind you of how you walk and how you talk. And like, nah, man, it's important. My life is important. My house, my bills. I got to make sure I'm on time. I make sure I tie my boots. My shirt's tucked in. I'm ready to go. Yeah. So it's really that level of accountability is so important.
Yeah, you almost incentivize people to continue being late when there's not like necessarily a consequence or anything like that. Like there's another word I'm trying to think of that kind of goes with this, but incentivizing is one of them. Like you're kind of doing that, if every
setting
day,
a standard. Yeah. You're setting a standard. I say, I got you for 12 weeks. How can I help build you up into the strongest person, or at least hold you accountable? There's we have a theory of, you set a high bar. And, a lot of people they think young people don't want to meet the high bar, and they just want to be, it's okay for this. And if you fail a drug test, it's okay. And we'll baby you through it. Be there with love, but hold people accountable. Set a high bar. And what we found is almost every one of our young people, they want to be pushed to that high bar. They want to have that sense of pride and knowing that they're respected and that they've earned where they are. You know, I think young people have a horrible reputation right now. You know, they just want to, I say it all the time, it's just, you know, the theory is just, you know, all these kids just want to smoke weed and play video games. And that they're entitled, you know. And 100%, there's a lot of that. There's a ton of kids out there that's what they are. But then there's a whole other generation. There's thousands of young people that are hungry, that do want something better, but they don't know where to get started or how to go get it.
Yeah.
So that's really where we step in and show them, find the ones that are hungry and do want something better and want to be held accountable and want to get pushed. Those are the ones that we are pouring everything into and showing them a way, putting them on a roadmap and showing them a way. And if anything, it's the ones that aren't ready, that do still want to smoke weed and play video games. They're seeing their brother, their sister, their cousin, someone they went to school with, has stepped up and followed the program, and they're off working, and they're just bought a new car, and they're kicking butt in life. So that you just created this incentive for the people that aren't ready.
Yeah.
You know, that's really it, is be there for the ones that are, give them everything, and be there as an incentive for the ones that aren't ready, and be there when they are ready.
Yeah, and it's funny, maybe not funny, but, you know, we hear these things about, you know, people have these complaints about, you know, this next generation coming up and so on. And yeah, you're right. You know, maybe there is some of that, right? Maybe there is a little, if people want to call them lazy or whatever, maybe there's some of that, right? Okay, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Because clearly there was nobody in that person's life to show them etiquette, to show them like these things that would help them be successful. And some of us are lucky that we've been able to have that around our lives or be exposed to that, but that's not everyone.
Yeah.
And so, like, we can sit there and keep complaining about that and say that about these generations, but if we're not doing anything about it and we're not mentoring them to get to that position, are we going to keep complaining about the same thing?
Yeah. You don't have a right to complain about it if you're not doing anything to fix it.
Yeah.
If you're just going to just jump online and just complain about stuff but not do anything, man, shut up.
Yeah, I see it as 50-50. It's like, yeah, okay, you're maybe valid in some of these complaints, but also, what are you doing? That's what you're not doing is also incentivizing that behavior to continue to grow.
Yeah.
So, you know, with Los Angeles, obviously we've talked a little bit about, you know, the program and stuff. What's your mission? Like, what's the main end result for? Not that there's an end result, but
no, like, I don't think we have one, dude. Every day is a new day, to be honest. I never thought I'd be in this spot right now and watching this grow and how it's evolved. There was never a clear path to get to this. This is just responding to a need, really, is how we've gotten to this spot.
Yeah,
you know,
so it just keeps it's a fluid thing, basically.
Yeah, it keeps growing. So right now we're expanding. We're just seeing right now we have a huge wait list of young people. A huge wait list of employers that need people. There's this huge vacuum right now. There's a lot of opportunity. So it's creating the opportunity right now for people. So we're expanding. We're opening another facility in downtown LA, right by Dodger Stadium. Yeah. And hopefully by first year be up with that one.
Wow.
And then seeing how we can kind of keep evolving. And this will be our first stretching out that footprint.
Wow.
And seeing how this can keep going. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that you guys have with the younger generations? Is there anything that you guys are trying to improve on, or, you know, as far as even like just the visibility for people to know you exist? I mean, you have a backlog, but you know, there's always something else out there.
I think it really, like, funding is always a big one. You know, we have a team of grant writers and keeping things going. We are a 501c3, a nonprofit, to keep this going.
Okay.
But really, it's visibility. You know, I think bigger sponsorships. I think bigger partnerships. We're in a really good spot for the size of the organization we are as we're growing, looking for long-term funding. But really, it's just keeping the thing going and bigger partnerships with other employers that are looking to hire people, and working with young people, and then working with employers to let them know what young people are like. You know, that old. You know, that's the thing too, is this industry is changing, but I think it needs to change a little faster of, you know, you got to pay people well.
Yeah.
You know, companies are failing because they still think they can pay body guys $10 an hour.
Yeah.
People got to eat. That's not what's happening anymore. You got to pay people well. You got to give them benefits. I think, you may pay them, you know, a decent wage, but no benefits, no PTO, no medical, no nothing. people aren't really down for that. Not when they could go work at Amazon or go work somewhere else with way less responsibility, less wear and tear on your body. Yeah, maybe there's not the long-term growth plan there, but when we're working with people at this age, they're not seeing the long-term growth plan.
Yeah.
They're seeing the right here, right now. So if you're not able to really respect your team and respect your people, good luck.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that.
Invest in your people, and that whole theory of like, the salty old dogs, especially in this industry of like, it's like you beat up the apprentices and you take advantage of them. You got to earn it. There's a level of holding people accountable and creating a real, a structured place. And then there's just a level of just being rude and abuse, and I'm just like, I'm not hip on any of that. And we have to change that mentality. And that comes from just all of us just, when you're working with someone that's just that grouchy, grumpy dude and they're just taking advantage of the young cats coming in, like, dude, you're the reason why this industry is falling apart.
Yeah.
Is because everyone had that take advantage, talk a lot of crap to the apprentices. Well, yeah, they don't want to come work with you, dude. Mm-hmm. So good luck. Then your company's failing because you don't know how to communicate. You treat people like crap. Yeah, good luck. And your company's failing.
Yeah, a couple of things from that too is like the structure side of things. In the automotive, the custom automotive especially, there was an old school.
Let's take a moment to talk about this episode's sponsor, SADA USA. If you ever spent a full day in the paint booth, you know exactly how tough the summer months can be. A few hours into the day, your paint suit's soaked, you're drenched in sweat, and the heat inside the booth can make it difficult to stay focused. That's why SADA is helping painters beat the heat with a limited time promotion running in the United States only. Now, through September 30th, 2026, when you purchase a SADA 3-stage 200 or the 500 filtration system and a SADA AirVision 5000 regulator set supplied air breathing hood, you'll receive one of these: a free SADA air cooler, a $556 value and a great way to beat the heat. SADA's 3-stage filtration system delivers the clean, high-quality breathing air that professional painters rely on by removing contaminants from compressed air. The 200 series delivers 72 CFM at 90 psi, while the 500 series provides 135 CFM at 90 psi. That's enough capacity to supply up to 4 technicians with both breathing air and spray air. For larger shops with multiple booths, one properly plumbed 500 series can often replace several filtration units, helping reduce maintenance and simplifying filter changes. Pair either filtration system with the SADA AirVision 5000 hood, and you have protected from both your spraying air and your breathing air from all types of contaminants. The loose-fitting positive pressure hood helps protect your respiratory system while also shielding your head, eyes, and skin. If you have glasses or a beard like I do, trust me, this setup has you covered. Now add the SADA air cooler, and the incoming breathing air can be cooled by up to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, helping you stay cooler and more comfortable during those long summer days. If you've ever been thinking about upgrading your breathing air system, there's never been a better time. Don't sweat through another summer in the booth. Contact your local SADA distributor today. Now let's get back to this episode.
Way of doing things that was like pretty much most of the shops from the 90s to the early 2000s. And I feel like now we're starting to see actual procedures and structure and shop culture, there's leaders out there like Roadster Shop, Dutch Boys, Goolsby, like all these custom builders that are developing a system.
Yeah.
They have people for this, and this.
Yeah.
It's not one person who's the star of the show who never wants to leave that spot. The old dogs who don't want to leave, I'm a painter by trade too, so I also know how hard it is for painters to let go. And so you want to hold that position forever, but you never give the opportunity for the younger generation to come in and start cutting in parts for you and start painting the car with you and all that. And get them to the point where they can be in that position to help be a part of that. It's not taking away from that. You could still be the team lead. You can still be maybe a management in the company. You've got all this wisdom that you can use to better the business. But that's hard for people to let go. That's one that I've noticed is like,
Yeah.
you know, you're the fabricator, and you spent all this time, but you don't want to let that go, or you feel like somebody might overtake your position as you train them, and it's like.
But that's the progression. You took someone else's job. You did it.
Yeah.
That's the progression. I think every young person should be coming for their boss's job.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. I think every role should be coming for their boss's job.
Yeah.
Every role. Like, I think that's the natural progression. You know, I think that theory of, you know, you learn a trade to think about how you can, you know, start, you know, you're learning everything you can. You figure out how you can maybe do a little side job. You can figure out how you can be a manager, and you can figure out how you can open your own business one day. You can take that business and pass it down to your kids. I think, how do we bring that back?
Yeah.
How do we bring that mentality back? Like, that's you're creating generational wealth at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Create a business. I think all of us, we had to figure things out on our own. There was no one that handed us a family business to jump into.
Yeah.
Like, man, that would be amazing. How do we instill that? How do we create that?
Mm-hmm.
How do we create generational wealth? How do we create that comfort for our family and our kids?
And that's where I feel like the structure side of it and procedures is, you know, setting that stage.
Mm.
You know, and again, back to leadership, you're the top of that leadership role, and everything else trickles down. Well, it's a whole thing that equals those results. And then, like you were saying, like, well, yeah, get to the point where you can take over that job. That person can also do the same thing in that business, and if it's structured right, that everyone's progressing into something that always is moving and is always beneficial to all the people within that business. Yeah. And we need to see more of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And it seems like that's something that you guys emphasize here with your students.
Yeah, just there's room for growth. Hard work pays off.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you guys have a saying too. What is it? Speak less, do more.
Yeah, something for our staff. You know, it's say less and do more. It's really, you know, for our staff, it's you know, we hire people and they come in, they're working with people, and there's a mentorship aspect for sure. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we get people and they just want to talk about all their life stories, and they're going to teach kids and imposing all their wisdom, and it's like, man, just say less, bro. Show someone how to weld. And when you're working with someone and you're completing a task and how people perform under pressure, or they crack, or they're solving problems, that's how you really get to know somebody versus listening to a lecture from some old guy telling you about what not to do or the mistakes they made. Like, young people are over it. They're 18, 19, 20. They've been getting talked at their whole life so far. Yeah. They're just coming out of school, coming out of whatever parental, adult supervision, whatever. Like I said, they've been getting talked at their whole life. Mm-hmm. Let's create a space where we can listen and we can work together. You can actually give them a space to figure out who they are in the workforce. Yeah. That's the strongest thing. Not listening to lectures. Like, we don't let people come here. We're asked a lot of time, I want to come and speak and talk to your kids. Like, no, we're good. Like, yeah. No,
I think we were both nervous about that because I was like, at least I was definitely like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm not here to, like, I just want to be here and be a part of it. Dude, and, like, that's it.
Way more successful.
Like, I'm not here to tell people our story. Like, we talked a little bit, you know, but then it's like, it's about them. Yep. It's not about me.
Yeah, this is not that we're here not for us. I'm not here for myself. I'm not here to impose my wisdom and all my things that I've failed. Like, that's goofy. These kids don't care, man. They want to get right to work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, they want someone they can look up to and see how they handle and how they work. And you will create a, like, project-based learning. You will create a much tighter bond and a connection with someone and a real mentorship, working together, completing a task, solving problems versus I'm going to tell you a story about what I did when I was your age, and this is how I did. Man, shut up. You know, it's just funny. It's just a different aspect, and we found that type, that culture, that different space, mm-hmm. it works well. Yeah. It works well, yeah.
Well, going back to the hands-on thing, too, is I think that's a lot of mistakes that, like, people, even if you're a manager showing people to do stuff in your business or an instructor, they have to do it.
Walk the walk.
Like the students have to be hands-on. Yeah. If you're doing it for them, that you're just incentivizing a behavior where, like, oh, somebody's going to be there for me to get this done. Yeah, you have to get it done.
That's a hard one. And sometimes we'll do it to where we put it all together. I'm like, all right, dude, it's beautiful. You guys killed it. Yeah. All right, let's cut it all back out. Start over. Yeah. What? You know, or I'll show you how to make this template. You know, like, all right, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna make it. And then they're like, all right, cool. And they take it. I'm like, no, I'm taking that back. And I rip it up, throw it away. Like, no, that's mine. Like, you make your own, but now you get to see what it looks like in real life. Mm-hmm. That's another thing too. Is like, let's create it in real life versus tell you how to in theory how we're going to change a tire or how we're going to make this bracket. I'm going to tell you in theory of how to do it. But if you've never actually seen it being done, it's kind of hard to picture your hands doing it.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's do it together. And then you're going to see me do it, or we're going to do it together, but then we're going to take it back apart and you're going to do it yourself. This is not a space this is not a space for you to observe. This is you're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's a big one.
Even into the failures, it's like you guys were over there cutting some tubes and all that, and it's like it got a little shorter. Okay, watch out for this. No, the tube length change. You know, and it's like they get to see that progression, and it's like, okay, this mistake had this consequence that I may not have thought about it now, but now I see like there's going to be a consequence to some of those things. It's
problem solving and being okay. You were there with us yesterday, and the gas tank for that Camaro had to come out 5 times.
Yeah.
But it's how it goes when you build these cars. It's not a goes together one time and that's it. You know, you're test fitting everything, and it takes time. You got to be okay with that and realize, how do we solve problems as we go? We realize doing this, it was clunky coming out this way every time. Well, then how can we modify so as we go back in, it's coming a little bit easier, and it's everything we're doing is problem solving, and it's all so transferable. That mentality of solving problems helps you across the board.
And a lot of people would get fatigued mentally after the 5th time, and it's like, hey, no, this is part of it.
This is life. Yeah.
Like, this is I've had panels that I've built, and I couldn't get one thing right on it, and I'm like, trash can.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to spend more time trying to tweak that thing that I screwed up on than remake it real quick. I know what's wrong. Here's the next result.
Yeah.
And that's a skill.
That level of integrity, too, of knowing, like, okay, can I just bury this problem? Or is it like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start from scratch, and it's okay. I'm going to own it and be like, hey, man, I messed up this panel. I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to knock it out, but I learned a lot, and I'm going to get it done 3 times faster. Like, that level of owning it is a big one, too. You know?
And that was something I noticed throughout our day yesterday, is like there were problems that came up, and then it was like, you know, you can see the shoulders drop for a second, but the instructors are like, yeah, but we still got to do it.
Yeah.
Like, we can't, like, just drop our shoulders and just be like, oh, woe is me.
Yeah.
That's not an option. When you get into the work environment, it's, what do we do next? Like, how do we get to that end result? Something happened. Now let's keep moving. Yeah. And that's huge, especially for the next generation, to see someone like yourself or the instructors, that they're not freaking out when something happens.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole other problem on its own.
For sure. I think that's a big one, too, is making sure, like, like this place is designed to make mistakes. We tell people that we're working on some of these projects. We're not going to set you up on something where you're going to overstep. Like, it's built to make mistakes. It's only metal. We can fix it. Yeah. We're here to learn. We're here to figure out how we solve problems. Hey, we got in over our head on this one, or hey, we made a bigger mistake. As long as we're doing safe, man, we can get in there a carburetor. Hey, we can get in there a panel. Hey, we can get some more metal. It's okay. Let's make these mistakes and figure out how we navigate through it now before you go do it somewhere else. And you figure out how to accept failure and how to push through it. It's okay, man. It's life.
So you guys are teaching a lot of the things we're talking about, but like something that I've learned in my time as well has been like, you can spend whatever time being a fabricator, being a painter, and all that stuff, but teaching people teaches you things about yourself that you might have not even known. How has teaching people changed your life? Is it something that really changed you, whether it was physically and working in the stuff that you do, or just you as a person?
I don't know. That's tough. You know, it's funny. So so I have patience for young people for sure. I have 0 patience for adults. Yeah. That's something that I've learned for sure. So I have 0 patience for adults. It's no.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I definitely being here to try and show somebody something, or just a different way to look at a problem, and to watch someone take that and to be able to morph and learn and grow off it. It's beautiful. Yeah. But to work with adults that just keep banging their head against the wall, it's tough. Yeah, I don't know. That's something I've learned about myself, is I don't have a lot of patience for adults. You know?
Yeah. Wow. So you're in your element. You got more students than you got adults.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's awesome. So the program, you have all these different departments. Is there anything that you want to expand on, that you want to add to the programs?
I think it's our tech lab, our CNC tech lab with our 3D printers and our laser tables and our plasma tables, and the computer lab side of that with all of the 3D printing and the CAD and the machining. That's something I'm seeing that's growing. That came in. We were just mechanics and welding, and then we started doing more body work, and create a really cool, these 3 really strong departments, and everybody rotated through all the departments, and everyone was well versed. And then we added a little bit of a tech lab with a little CNC table, and then that kind of grew, and we're seeing where that's definitely the future, and where it so supports and works together with all the other departments, with making all the brackets and making the blueprints, and it's that department watching and seeing that grow. So our CNC tech lab is expanding, and I'm seeing that definitely be a bigger piece to what we're doing.
I think
term.
that is one, and I have firsthand experience with this. I'm fortunate to work in a shop where we have a sister company, Avant-Garde Design, and so we get to be exposed to a lot of 3D printed parts, 3D printed metal,
it's phenomenal.
like, all of these things. Like, a lot of people get like freaked out about, all this 3D stuff, and it's like, no, we're painting those parts. We're spending a lot of time, straightening those panels out, those 3D printed parts and everything. Even down to, you guys have a plasma table over there, whether you have a water jet or all these other things that you can use to cut metal. That's just another process in the fabricating.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away anything.
Yeah.
If anything, it just makes the processes better and gives you more capability than you ever had before. I mean, I think you're like me. I don't really have a whole lot of experience with the CAD work or anything like that. I build it with my hands.
Yeah, I'm scared when I go back in the tech lab. So all the rest of the departments I've built, I know that's my world. Like welding, mechanics, the body work and paint, running a body shop. Like, that's my world. The CNC tech lab, I'm scared when I go back in there. I don't know how they turn the computers on and how they make it do its magic voodoo inside those boxes. But it's beautiful. It's phenomenal. Yeah. And to be able to I still make cardboard templates, and if I'd still cut metal with my oxyacetylene torches. It's so to be able to do it precise and rapid and production, what they're doing, it's phenomenal what these young people are able to do and jump to it. It's amazing. And
that's what I was saying. Like, it still combines every department you have here. Yeah. Because, I mean, you guys are building these sections for frame rails. Yeah. Well, they were cut on the plasma table. Yeah. And then you put them through a time saver. They get sanded down and all that. I think that's the name of the machine. But
the big belt sander.
Yeah.
There's so much to it, and I think it's funny. There is a huge misconception with young people of young people they're so tech, they're so advanced, they know everything about computers, and it's like, I think there was a generation of people that are in their maybe late 20s, early 30s, that or even maybe in the early 40s, that were more tech, understand the printers, and understand more of that. The newer generation, what we're finding, we started the tech lab, and it's like, oh man, kids know everything about computers. They can hook up your printer, and they can hook up everything. Kids are like, I don't know what to do with that. There's a generation that got missed. All the young people now, they're really good with phones and apps, but not necessarily building computers and setting up all that. So there's a weird thing that we're hitting right now where I think a lot of people are coming on and realizing that, like, oh, young kids know how to do all the computer stuff. No, not necessarily. Like, they know how to do apps. Yeah. They know how to do phones. They've grown up on phones. They don't even, these kids haven't really grown up on computers right now. They've grown up on phones. Yeah. So it's still, it's forever changing. I think other people need to make sure that we're still understanding how the world is changing daily. That young people are more hip on phones and apps. Yeah. Not necessarily just computers.
And it's just evolving, I mean, like, this is stuff that we didn't have when I was younger. I didn't have a lot of these things that would make my life easier with that, and
it's life, you know what I mean? There was the people that still, farmers plowed with a mule. Yeah. And then tractor came along. It's the same thing, man. Yeah. It's just, we got to either we can complain about it, or we jump on and make it work to our advantage and stay with the times.
And some of it is like, at the end of, like, there's a lot of stuff that I think of, like my health, right? Where, could you sit there and fabricate that part and cut it by hand and do that for 30 years and not get messed up from that? Like, okay, well, there's a laser. There's all these other things that can reproduce that part 50 times, 20 times faster than you can sit there and cut that and everything. And it's about being efficient, right? If you want to make some money out of
Mhm.
this thing, we need efficiency.
Yeah.
And do you really need to cut out 30 of those pieces by hand? It's just messing you up.
Mhm.
Like, I think that's something that's really underestimated right there, is like, if we can use the technology to still do what we love doing, and we get a little bit less wear on our bodies,
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's great.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure.
see anything wrong with that.
The mule and the tractor.
Yeah, yeah, it's all the progression of it.
Mhm.
And I see you guys, everyone's wearing, they got their eyes on, they got masks, all that stuff. So it looks like you guys really emphasize on safety,
Yeah.
and protecting yourself. Everyone's wearing gloves and
Yeah,
stuff.
100%. Yeah, you have to. And just preparing for what the next phase. Some companies don't push protection,
Mhm.
making sure you're wearing your respirator. And so we want to just instill that in people now of like, no, you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Well, like you're saying now, it's the starting point. So from here, the progression is a lot longer versus when you're in your 40s or something like that,
Yeah.
and like it's harder to turn that ship
Yeah.
and be like, okay, yeah, I'll start wearing this now. I'll start
Yeah.
thinking about that now. Well,
Yeah.
you're in your 40s.
Yeah.
It may not work out so good to you in the next 10 years. You
Yeah.
might start seeing the results of years of abuse on your body and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. People used to paint with bandanas, over their mouth. It's
Yeah.
crazy times. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the OGs that we've seen, that's how it was. Again, the fades and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You see that they weren't wearing masks. They were just out in the open in their shop, in their garage, just
Yeah.
spraying. And, they did cool stuff and everything like that. But now we're exposed to things like having fresh air systems
Yeah.
readily available that
Yeah.
you can get and, protect further and stuff like that.
Yeah. Be safe. I think that caught up to me, spraying for years. And now it's like I've created an allergy to it where it's
Oh,
clear coat.
okay.
If I
Yeah.
get clear coat, if I don't have a fresh respirator,
Uh-huh.
like fresh cartridges, I'm instantly sinuses all night. I'm ruined.
Yeah.
So it's you do need to take care of yourself. It's same thing of like just not taking care of your body and like your body starts giving out on you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's taking care of yourself for sure. Whereas picking up transmissions by yourself, it was definitely like the tail end of that generation who was like overworking ourselves and not taking care of ourselves and being smart and
Mhm.
paying the price for it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
100%.
no, let's make sure that people are working in shops and around spaces that they're respected and they take care of themselves for longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you're seeing more of it, so that's good.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, I try to emphasize that a lot, even at the shop that I'm at. It's like even picking things up, ask for help,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
get another person.
Yeah.
I think we've both worked with people,
Yeah.
in our time doing what we do, where it's like everyone who's got a bad back.
Yeah.
That's the worst right there. I mean,
Yeah.
that'll knock you out of half of what you can do.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, I could work all day. It's one of those things. Pushing a car in a parking lot. What'll get me. Like
Yeah.
that sciatic get me. I'm like, oh my god, it takes me out. Yeah. So it's definitely like taking care of yourself and knowing what you can and can't do anymore. And it's like it's why you be smart. Ask for help when you need it.
Yeah. So if somebody's listening to this and they are in the demographic that you guys are looking for, maybe if they're nervous about getting into the program, like what would you tell them? Like what would you say as far as like, hey, we're here, we're inviting you, come on board, like.
Yeah, it's really so how it goes is someone would apply online. They get a phone call within about 48 hours, and it's just a quick little pre-screening, just to get to know you. If it's something you really want to do, and ask you a couple questions, and if you want to go to the next stage, then we come through and we do like an info session a couple of times, about 4 times a month, and about 20, 30 people at a time. And they go through, ask a bunch of questions, and talk and do a tour of the facility. At that moment, you get to see like, is this something you want to get into or not? But it really is one of those things. It's stay up, watch the video, stay up on the socials, and you get to see yourself. Do you see yourself in the people that are here and realizing, I like that, I want that, I could see myself doing that. If so, come through, apply. And I think for the people that are not in this area, I think there's a lot of shops. We talk with a couple of shops, and well, they don't have something like this in their area, and how do they get started? And I think it really is. Man, you can create a small training program for apprentices. Every shop can create a small apprentice program with some old pickup truck or a car or something that just tear apart, rebuild. You think you're throwing money away, but you're investing in your team by doing that. And it's like, don't just take a young person, throw them on a floor in a customer car, and then you just stress them out, overwhelm them, and you got someone yelling at them to make sure they're able to produce. how are they going to produce at a level when they have no experience?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think every shop could create a small apprenticeship thing and their own thing to build up their team. And I think it's figuring out how to replicate what's going on here, or to be able to. And we had a couple of kids right now that are here from Minnesota that came out here and they're staying at Airbnb to be able to take the program. I mean, it's doable.
Yeah. Are you mostly getting like how far out? Because obviously that's a case of like people from out of state.
Yeah,
and stuff.
it's an outlier. Mostly it's local. It's Southern California. Mostly
Yeah.
this LA area. Yeah.
Is that mainly the most manageable thing? Because I'm sure for a lot of people it's hard for them. Maybe they want to come here,
Yeah.
but they live in another state. You know, then they got moving expenses. They got all these other things that like may not make it easy for them to get here.
For sure. Yeah.
Is there anything where you guys are able to find help for them, or it really is?
I mean, we do a lot with supportive service and help people out as much as possible and kind of set a plan. Sometimes, luckily, if you get 2 or 3 people, you can kind of come and share a space, get an Airbnb. Stuff's pretty, and this is a paid program too, so you're getting $18 an hour. There's a lot of planning and prepping to make sure it's a good fit. But yeah, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. But I mean, I would imagine like locally, you guys, there's so many people here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's probably just at a local level, you're doing such a difference right there.
At a local level, we have 150 people a month applying for the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's tough.
So do you think that would be? I mean, you said you guys are opening up another school at a local level. That's where your success is really going to come from the local level for the most part.
I don't know. Yeah, I would assume. Yeah, there's just that's kind of like, and the more of these spaces we can open up, and see. I mean, you can kind of there's a lot of jobs, and everything we're doing is so transferable to where it's not just the automotive side is just a way to teach all these transferable skills and problem solving and work ethic, and it's fun.
Yeah,
I think it's that cool, fun hook to get young people in the door. A lot of them are going off into an aerospace industry. If this was an aerospace training, it puts up this wall of like, oh, I'm not good enough for that. I'm not smart enough for that. And it's like, no. But when we have, a race car, a drift car, an old custom car, a lowrider, a truck, everyone's like, I want to do that. And meanwhile, they're here and they're learning all these same skills that's going to prepare them for all these other jobs.
Yeah.
So the cars is just a way to trick people into wanting to work for a living is truly the deal.
That's one of the things that like a lot of people will say, oh, the younger generation's just not interested in this industry. And I sat there and I thought about that, and I'm like, when I grew up, I would see there was the TV shows, right? Like there was plenty, like Jesse James made so much of this cool, and that really attracted people. And that's changed, right? Before we would see magazines, we would see TV shows like that, but social media was absent. And now it's like you can go directly to some people and see what they're doing and get inspired by that. So sometimes I wonder, who is our version of these Jesse James type characters now, and he still inspires a lot of people, but like, I would say it's like what you're saying here, like you guys are part of that, and you're like, hey, look at these cool cars, and look at, what we can do together for that.
Yeah.
And then you attract them into that, and like I feel like that's that part of that next progression in this current generation that like, hey, come on, we're right here.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
And this doesn't limit you to one thing. It broadens you out to everything.
Yeah, it's just a start.
Yeah. So I that's something I put a lot of thought to, and I'm still working on those thoughts of like, okay, well, what's coming next to like really draw, people.
Yeah, I don't know. That is it's a tricky one. I don't know if there's going to be a face of or a bigger movement. I don't know. I think right now there's just there's so much of like inequality and wealth and all this stuff. So it's really just trying to create like, how do we highlight the hustle of what we're doing, and show the hard work and know that there's a lot of jobs out there. And how do we get people placed in these jobs where they can start creating real lives for themselves? Because I think there's still this huge divide of the have and the have-nots, and people that just like, well, I'm never going to be able to do that unless I go to 4 years of schooling to do that. And it's like, no, let's get in and get going, and we could rapid train right into this, and you can get working and start. I think we have to really put some energy into like make a big impact in this generation, get people working, get people making money and buying a house, buying cars, and just to be able to surviving and progressing.
Yeah.
So it's show people a path to these real these high level jobs that they can start getting into. I think that's where there's this huge divide of like, oh, I'll never be there. No, come on, let's go.
I think progressing is an important one.
Yeah,
because we've progressed in our time, and at any moment we could have also 10 years into our industry, like the time we've been doing what we've been doing, you come to another wall where you're just like, oh, there's an opportunity, but I'm not good enough for that.
Yeah.
And that's a 10-year experienced person that will still do that.
For sure.
And we still like do that to ourselves, you know, and I don't know, part of me feels like by saying that, at least, you know, some of these students or anybody who's younger who is thinking that right now, hearing us say that is like, oh, I guess they also feel nervous, even though they see you and they're like, oh, Aaron Valencia, he does all this stuff. And like, we all have moments still to this day.
I'm nervous every day. I don't even know what I'm doing. You know, we're just trying to, you know, we're figuring out everybody. That's the thing. Everybody, even all the professionals you meet, I go into different rooms and meeting with different people, and it's like, man, everybody's just figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you relieve the pressure. I think we talk a lot about preparing young people we do a lot of mock interviews. And, you know, when they're going to interview with a hiring manager from this huge company, and I have to remind people, like, man, that's just a normal person.
Yeah.
It's just a regular person, just like you or me. And most of the time in this industry also, you're not going for a corporate job. You're going for an industry job.
Yeah.
That person more than likely came from the floor. They were a tech at one point, dirt under their nails, wearing boots. Like, they were the same person. So it's really important, like, to understand they're just a normal person, dude. They've worked their way up to a different space right now, but they started just like you. They had this same interview as you right now. They're nervous talking to somebody else. Like, just normal people, dude. And we're all just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I will say
every day.
100% right now. I was nervous up till this moment right
here.
Yeah. You know, I've said this before on the podcast. It's like a lot of them, I don't even have notes. Like, I wrote notes for this. And I sit there and I'm like, man, am I going to remember that?
Yeah.
Is he not going to like that question?
Yeah.
Am I going to look like a fool by saying this and that? And like, I've gotten to the point now, and I still get nervous, right? But I'm still like, no, you know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
You know, in the moment, it's going to come up.
Yep.
And I've probably not even used a quarter of my notes that I have there. But it's just trusting in myself and being like, all right, just, you've done this before. Yeah,
try and relax, try and breathe, and just like realize, man, we're all, I think that's the biggest thing for me. The biggest realization is when I realize people that I held up as like professionals, I got to impress, and it's like, they're just normal people, man. They're just faking it like everybody else, just trying to get through the day. Like, it's like it helps relieve the pressure. You know, it's like they're just a little further along or whatever journey they're on, but man, everybody's just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, you're gonna stand next to them one day and they're gonna be like, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, all right, we should probably figure that out, you know, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's there's a level of pressure that we put on ourselves that for the most part, pretty unnecessary.
Yeah, for 100%. That's what we had, you know, even coming into like, you know, overwhelming situations. You know, we have some of our young people coming through, you know, first day starting here, and it's a very overwhelming experience. So we try and make it as open and understanding as possible, and realizing, man, everyone comes in scared, nervous. It's a big shop. It's loud. It's hot. There's sparks flying. There's everything. But by the time they graduate after 12 weeks, this is home, and they're used to that. They're used to this level of performing under pressure. So it's the same thing. We've had to perform under pressure, you know, and had to talk to people who weren't sure how to, and they've had the same thing, you know. So it's like creating an environment for people to grow. I think it's been super important.
Yeah, I think what eventually, and I've experienced that. I've had, even at the shop, I've had guys, same thing, you know, they're nervous. And even though they've done the thing, they see the place, and they, you know, there's certain level of, I don't know, insecurity or whatever it is, right? And I've gotten to the point now where I'm just like, no, this environment is home.
Yeah.
It just looks different in all these different places. And I'm not going to get intimidated by the place.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more concerned about the people that I'm going to be with, and hope that we're all at a level that we can work together.
Yeah.
You know, not being as intimidated as everything that's around me and stuff. And it's like, you have some resources sometimes, and you don't have some resources sometimes. And what do you do with that?
Yeah.
It's the actions that you take that help you make a result out of that.
For sure. I
You
think
know?
definitely understand it, like, too, like, everybody's insecure.
Yeah.
Like I said, everybody's faking it. Everybody's just trying to figure it out. I think that was my biggest thing for me was of just realizing, like, not everybody's just normal people.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I try and tell these guys, too, like, hey, none of us know what we're doing. We're just getting through the day. You know?
Yeah, but hearing it from you, that's something that drops the shoulders a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn,
relieve the pressure, man. We're all just
Yeah.
figuring it out.
I think relieving the pressure, that's
Yeah.
overall, that's what we
Yeah.
all need.
Yeah, we do it to ourselves. You know, I
Yeah.
still do it, but I constantly reminded myself, like, I'm just normal people. We're just
Yeah.
talking.
So what about instructors and stuff like
Mhm.
that? Like, I mean, even yesterday I had somebody that asked about how could they volunteer or maybe be a part of the program. Like, how do people reach out to you guys to be able to, I don't want to say fit in or
Yeah.
where their place can be to be a part of this?
Yeah, no, it's one of those things I'm always looking for as we're growing, looking for good staff.
Mm-hmm.
Volunteers don't really. I've never had much luck with people volunteering. I think having like a guest spot or someone come through, but I'd rather like let's take this instead of most time where I've had volunteers, it's that come through and want to talk about life and mentor kids and tell them something important, and it's like no. Let's come through. If you have a skill level that you want to come through and you have a specific trade that you're good at and you come through as a guest instructor and you can work for a week or do a project, and let's take it serious and run it like it's an actual job and you're here working and you're that's 100%. But to come through as just a volunteer and just observe and I'm very cautious also about who we let here.
Yeah.
Because we have people that like I just want to observe and see what this looks like. Like now these or I tell them too of like whatever story you have, it's up to you to tell it or not tell it, but never feel pressure.
Yeah.
Because people want to come through and want to talk to what a foster kid sounds like and what a young mother that's poor sounds like. Like, hey, this not what this is.
Yep.
We're here to work, so we're not here to talk about that. This isn't like a zoo environment. And it's we've had that, and it's weird. So I've had that from people that want to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see what it's like. It's like, nah, this ain't. Nah,
Yeah.
It's not that environment.
You're treating it like a business at the end of the day, where you have things that need to get done, and you guys have your plan for the day, and you need to be at a certain point, or at least close to it.
Well, that's a part of it. I don't care if any of these projects ever get done. Truly, like that's not it. I just want to make sure that our young people feel respected and that they're not here to be exploited by their rough upbringing or their story or their whatever. They're not here to tell their story to other people so they could feel good about being a part of something positive. Like that's not what this is. So we've had that. So I'm more overprotective of young people coming through and being respected as hardworking young people who are here to learn and produce and provide for their families.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's just a level of protection on them.
Yeah, and I feel that when we're working with some of them downstairs, we're sitting there sanding parts, and we're looking at guide coat, and I get to show them like, oh yeah, this is why we're using this product. We need to find imperfections. We need to look for that and stuff like that. And then they're like, hey, how do I mask this? Like, what do you think about? You think it should be right here? And I'm like, well, for this car, this is what you guys are doing for this level. I think this is going to be fine for that.
Yeah.
And like, they were asking those questions. They weren't like looking at me either as like, oh man, what's his life story or anything like that. It was like, well, they said he's got some experience. Well, let's see. And it just put me to work and Connie to work to that point of like, well, okay, we'll show you guys what we know on some of this stuff. If you have a question and stuff, and we want to be there to help you see what we see when we're working on cars, and that's something that's important for us too, for you guys and anyone. It doesn't have to be just this school. I feel like one of the hardest things to translate, especially when you get into these higher level qualities of work, is to translate what you see, right? What you the things that you've built up in your time, and I'm going to build this fuel line, and I want it to look a certain way, and here's why I'm going to bend it like this. Here's why. That's tough when you don't have the experience to see that.
That's why we mess it up.
Yeah.
Mess it up. Redo it. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this space is for. None of these cars, like, hey, we messed them up. We put filler on, and we sanded it all back off on accident. We over sanded. We kept going, and we had to put it back on again. Like the only way, it's just seat time. Everything we're doing here, you had to bend, you had to do that same brake line 5 times to get it to where it was right. Hey, that's what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we got more. Let's do it 6 times. Let's make sure to where you feel comfortable. So you learned a lot. That's what it's for.
Yeah, and I would keep hearing the same thing. Oh, we had so much sanding to do on this thing, and I look at them and I'm like, yeah. It's gonna be like that. There's always gonna be sanding.
There's gonna be more.
And I hope that stuff like that makes them be like, I guess that's the job.
Yeah,
it is.
Yep,
that is the job. And you're gonna, there's gonna be things that you do that like, you might not necessarily enjoy it. It's part of the job.
Yeah,
we do that all day. There's tons of things that we do that we don't like necessarily. It's not the one thing that speaks to me, but you're not going to be able to do that anywhere and just do one specific thing. You're going to have to broaden a little bit. And
it's part of paying your dues also. Like you got to sand 100 cars, and that's why it's like, okay, do I want to stay as a sander and a prepper, or do I want to move to a painter? Do I want to move to the estimator? Do I want to sit in an air conditioning office? Like where do I want to be?
Yeah, paying your dues is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's something that
there's a fine line there, but yeah, there's a fine line of just being taken advantage of, and then not knowing how to progress out of that, not knowing when to be like, all right, I've done my time, I want to step up into something else, and this is how I go about doing it. When do you take charge on that example? When do you take charge of, I tell people too, is that, hey, you want to become a painter, you want to do something, have a crappy car and do it on the weekends. Like do your own thing and show up to work. That's your best business card.
Yeah. You
want to progress? Show people what you did. Your portfolio speaks louder than anything you could put on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Well, when we were at SEMA, there was another event that we had done that was also with a set of students, and it was just really interesting to see. Like sometimes you would see like people that were discouraged, right? They're early in their career, and they want to be right here, right now, like that. Almost in the way of like kind of skipping over everything. Yeah. And it's like, that's not really how it works.
Well, I think a lot of people are lied to also, that if you go to school and you do this, you're going to be here.
Yeah.
That's not reality, man.
No.
You still got to start, and you still got to earn your way up to that if you want to get there successfully and be respected in that position.
Yeah.
I think there's this huge misconception of, as long as I go to school and I have this degree, I'm going to be at this level.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's eyes are opening wide right now to that's not the case. And how do we cut that level of entitlement? And I feel bad for people that were lied to with just all you got to do is get this degree and you're going to be set.
Yeah.
People went and hard work and got that degree and they're not set.
They ended up with a bunch of debt.
Yeah, it's like it's horrible. So I feel really bad. So it's like, how do we help right now to help people like earn that path that they end up at?
Yeah, and that path will change. You may think, oh, I love doing this, and then as you progress and you get to that point, all of a sudden you find other things.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And maybe you veer over there a little bit.
Yeah. That's why we do things the way we do it here. We have 4 different tracks: mechanics, welding, manufacturing, bodywork, and paint, and CNC. Everyone goes into, they break them up into 4 groups. And it'll be 2-week rotations of each one of those 4 groups. So every student, by the time they hit 8 weeks, has 2 weeks of mechanics, 2 weeks of welding, 2 weeks of body and paint, 2 weeks of CNC. So they get to figure out where they feel the strongest. Everyone signs up when they all come through. They all want to be welders.
Yeah.
But once they get through and they run through other things, they realize, all right, welding's cool, but I kind of like this. And now they're like, I'm actually really good at CNC. So they get to open up their eyes and see where they're good at.
And that's something for me to expand in that area. Like I always say, like metalwork and bodywork are 2 great things to know. Because when you learn how to shape panels, whether it's one or the other, you're understanding shape, you're understanding like what works and what doesn't work. But if you only carry one of those skills, you can be great in that skill, but you might miss some other thoughts in the other. And so there's a lot of things that like I feel like they agree with each other, right? And these different stages, prep work and paint work. Well, bad prep work leads to bad paint work. If it fails, what good is it for you?
If your metal guy doesn't understand paint and body, he's not going to prepare his panels good enough. So when you know all of it, it helps a lot.
Yeah, all those
Same
different
thing, mechanics,
things.
yeah.
Mechanic.
Yeah.
You're going to know a fabricator and mechanics. How many cars are you guys doing that you have fabrication work that's got to be involved with the mechanical side?
So that's a hard part is having sometimes, and it happens everywhere, is the fabricators don't fabricate for the mechanics don't finish. It's always like, well, the next guy will get it. And it's when things change, there's always a bit of leftover or fallout, or like some of the stuff that no one took ownership of versus I came from a space of you do every facet yourself. So as you're doing it, you're prepping for when you're going to body work, when you're doing it, when you're chopping tops, you already know it's going to go to upholstery. So you're creating extra little brackets for the upholstery guy because you're in there. You don't just do it all, paint it, let it go to upholstery, and then he's going, hey, I need these little brackets.
Yeah.
So when you know every side of it, or when it just helps a better.
It complements the next step.
Yeah, when you can do it, you're initially complimenting the next step right away.
Yeah. No, that's to me that's such a fundamental thing against students or in a shop. And yet for sure it is tough. But if you can expose yourself to that now versus later, you're way ahead of the game right there. So that's something I've really enjoyed seeing that firsthand here, that everyone gets to be hands-on with all these different aspects. And even if one aspect doesn't speak to them, they're at least exposed to it.
Yeah.
Helps them understand the entire build process and everything like
What's
that.
possible, across the board.
So what, as far as like job placement for a lot of the students and everything, what's been the main one? I know there's been a lot of aerospace, right? Has that been like a pretty common one for a lot of the students to get into, or maybe some of the paint companies?
It's predominantly that's the thing, is we use the automotive industry to teach transferable skills, but 97% of our kids end up in the aerospace industry.
Okay.
Yeah, aerospace pays well. There's a structure, there's stability, and if you're doing cars, now you can do cars. If that's your passion, you're doing that for fun. You're doing that to chase your passion, refine your skills, but you got a 9 to 5. You're able to work and produce and take care of your family.
Yeah.
So we have 150 kids a year come through the program. We're at like a 97% graduation, and about 97% of our kids graduate and go right to work in aerospace.
Wow.
Whether it's Lockheed, Northrop, PPG is another big one. It's automotive and aerospace paint company. A lot of our kids go down working for them. Welding and manufacturing, a lot of machinists. But good structured companies.
Yeah. On the automotive side, I feel like, or actually I know for a fact, automotive is like every shop in the country is hiring right now.
Yep.
And I think you and I are on the same page that there's got to be a lot of changes for people to, bring them on board. There's a lot of stuff that has to change in order for them to even be able to move across the country and stuff.
Yeah.
What are things that you want to see differently for the automotive side?
To be honest, I think it's just being able to prepare the apprentices, and I think giving people space to learn and grow and create projects for them to learn. We were able to, super fortunate, if we were young people, went off and worked at Rod Emery shop doing Porsches.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Super cool, man. That's amazing, and that opened up a lot of doors. That company's great, I think. And then Singer's another one. We're excited. Hopefully, it's just where we are right now in Los Angeles. We're in the northern part of Los Angeles County, so it's commuting is kind of hard. So a lot of our companies are a lot of the good automotive spaces are a little far for a commute. So I think our next expansion will be able to open that up and work a lot tighter with some of the automotive spaces. So no, we're excited. I think a big one is just taking care of people, pay benefits. Take care of your young people, because if not, they're gonna go. I mean, you're competing. If you think you're gonna pay someone $20 an hour to stand or bust down a car, they really can work it in and out for $22 an hour.
Yeah.
Yes, the longevity could be a little bit different, but like they're working full time with benefits and they're making good money.
Yeah.
Like, what team do you want to build up? Some of these companies are competing with fast food, with other places, with Amazon. Go work in a warehouse. Where kids, way less stress, way less, dealing with a lot of things that people got to deal with in this environment. So it's like, for the right people, it's perfect. The automotive space is great, and the custom restoration shops, it's phenomenal. But we have to create a culture where they're respected and they're kind of nurtured. They're brought up.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are looking at it like, there's not enough fully experienced people, and because it seems like they're all spread out, they're all in different shops, or maybe even people just don't want to move. You know, that's also a tough one for a lot of people. And I think a lot of shops are looking at, well, let's get somebody who's entry level, and let's build them up how we want to build them, versus old dog that doesn't want to learn new tricks. And that's something that's why I think of you guys, and I'm like, man, automotive, come on, let's pick this up, because we need it. We need the workforce. It's there, but we got some changes that we need to make in order to bring them in and invite them, and let's do this, because there's the custom automotive is exploding right now. Every shop, they're booked out years, and high-end builds, high-end projects. You know, it's and everything from paint, body, metalwork, everything that you guys are doing here, they need that.
If you had paint, if you paid people and had structure, and it wasn't like, well, we're gonna work hard for a month and take a couple weeks off because we're in between payments, like that doesn't work. People need to eat, you know. So that, or that, hey guys, sorry man, paychecks are held up this Friday. I'll catch you guys on Monday. That doesn't work either. Like, so when people get away from that mentality and they create a real structure and there's benefits and they're taking care of people. No man, there's people. We have a ton of kids that would travel and move for somewhere good.
Yeah.
So
what's something you want to say to your students that you guys have now? Anything that comes to mind?
I mean, honestly, it really just comes down to, I couldn't be more proud of the hard work that everybody's put in this semester. I mean, every semester. I mean, it's just amazing to watch people grow. They graduate, they go work, and then they pop back in on a day off and say hi, and it's just like, it's just the level of pride. It's amazing just how proud I am of all these people that have come through here and that continually open the doors for other people, you know, that show other young kids, that either their younger brother and sister, or show the other kids that aren't really sure. They see it online and they're like, I'm not sure if I want to do it, maybe, but they get to see their success story and it opens the door for other people. It's just how inspired I am by them showing up every day. You know, people like, they thank me for stuff or thank our staff, and I'm like, dude, you guys did it. You guys are the one that showed up every day. We just paid the rent.
Yeah.
You know, we just got the stuff here for you guys to do it. You did the hard work every day. So just how they give us they give us purpose by showing up every day and showing how hungry they are. So I'm incredibly grateful and proud.
Well, that's awesome, man. You've really given them a place to be and to grow and to learn something new, while also being the leader that I wish a lot of people could have that in their life. You know, so dude, thank you for having us here.
Yeah, no,
we've really enjoyed this, and you know, to come into someone's house like this and be as welcome as we are. This has been awesome, and it really has been something that we've really enjoyed, man.
No, very cool. Thank you.
So I hope in the future we do more stuff. Maybe get you down to Florida.
No, I want to. I've never been down there. I'm down.
Yeah,
I want to
we'll
come
get
down.
You some
with
some alligators out there.
No, I'm down. I want to go lobster hunt or something. I'm down.
100%, man. We'll definitely take you out there. Thanks again for listening to the Automotive Artistry Podcast. Hopefully you got something out of this conversation, whether it was inspiration, motivation, or just hearing how somebody else approaches the work. If this episode inspired you, one way you can help us is by following, sharing, and leaving a review. It helps our podcast tremendously. Another way you can help support the podcast is by heading over to our online store, aworkingclass.bigcartel.com. You can find us on Instagram at Automotive Artistry Podcast, Automotive Practitioner, and The Working Class Women. We appreciate all of you listening. Let's get on to the next episode.